Welcome to the second episode of Jon Walner's podcast. What do you think so far, Jon?
Well, it was a month ago from the last one. I have no idea how that went. I was very nervous, and I'm glad the first one is out of the way. And I'm excited for new topics and a new venture in this podcast.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. And that's what's fun about this. I mean, we get
Right.
to talk about anything. And I hope that the listeners tune in and walk away from something that they picked up and they've learned for the day. So we're excited to be able to provide the second episode.
right, that's what I'm hoping for, because in the first one, I hoped I reached people that didn't know about hiring a lawyer. Why would they need one?
Yeah.
And I'm excited to educate the audience, to just tell them what's going on in the world of law, or the plaintiff's personal injury practice. That's what I specialize in. People that are injured through no fault of their own, injured as a result of others' negligence. But let's wait into the next topic. I'm excited to hear what you have to ask me.
All right. Well, today's topic
Okay.
is about that transition from law school to a law firm. And so this is a great episode for any law student right now, or even somebody that is considering going to law school. We're going to talk about that experience and what you look for when you're going to hire somebody. So let's just start from the basics and, what's important when you're looking for a law school. What should they do once they're transitioning out of law school and then going into a law firm, and what should they be looking for in a law firm?
Well, the exciting thing that is going on in law schools these days is, like when you were in college, you took courses you took your basic courses in college of maybe English, in math, or creative writing, or intro to psychology, intro to world history. You had to get your basics out of the way to, get your liberal arts degree. If you were in business school, you had to go through stats and math and some basic marketing and accounting courses. But what's going on now in law schools is you are able to pick something that is of interest to you. You have a desire to be a lawyer. You have a desire to be a human rights lawyer, or a lawyer for immigration, or what's going on now in the United States is obviously big in immigration. Ukrainians want to come to the United States, or Guatemalans fleeing, Venezuelans fleeing from violence in their countries, and their human rights are being violated, or their families are being torn apart. So you could pick any topic of what interests you.
Yeah.
Women's rights to health care for women. There are so many topics there's so many areas of law that need lawyers to fill these voids. So now when you go to law school, you can actually take a course in human trafficking. Say you start law school, you have to take certain basics to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Civil procedure, criminal law, criminal procedure, torts, evidence, property. You have to take these courses your first year of law school.
Yeah.
It is mandatory. It's on the bar exam. You must get through these courses. They are very tough courses. They are time consuming, and they take up a lot of your life, because no one has ever talked in their life about constitutional law, or evidence, or property, or civil procedure. Very complex topics. Very, mentally and physically draining. Let's be honest. But now, after you've gone through your first year of law school, you can go to human trafficking, immigration, violation of women's rights in Malawi, Africa. You can, whatever is of interest to you, trademark law, infringements on trademark and copyrights, what's going on in the music industry, these practitioners, the lawyers that practice in a certain area, say music, copyrights, are now going in the law schools and teaching these kids what they do for a living, and teaching them the law. Never before have you seen such a plethora of courses available to the kids these days that they can actually get a taste of what that area of law looks like. Also, they could think one thing, copyright is infringement. A guy used some lyrics in a Billy Idol song, in his new song, and who's ripping off who, right? But they could get in and find it's very difficult, this practice of law. That copyrights, infringements are very complex, and it may say, you know what, I learned a lot, but that it's not for me. You used to, have to have an internship. You go to a law firm, you're thinking about, say, copyright infringement. So you're going to a big law firm and you're being introduced to the topic over the summer, but you have a very short window, 6 weeks to learn the law, what it's like to be a lawyer. But they throw these kids into a lot of research and writing and things that are maybe seem boring and drudgery to a law student because the topic could overwhelm them. You're only prepared in law school for certain things, but it does give you the opportunity to know this isn't for me or this is for me, right? But I think the most exciting thing is, and just go back to this, is there are a lot of courses that you could take as a law student that piques your interest and maybe why you wanted to go to law school.
Yeah.
And now those classes are available through people that are experts in this area of law, adjunct professors.
So early on, try to take as many classes, a variety of classes to see what your interest really is. Unless you know right off the bat, like you want to be a criminal law lawyer or whatever it might be, but you need to kind of dive in and get your interest because it's diverse. I mean, you can do just about anything.
These days, yeah. You could do about anything. I have a kid that's in law school. He's just finishing his second year at Northwestern University here in Chicago. And I'll just give you a little background. This is of my son. I think this could be typical of others. He started out as a creative writing major, English major at Emory University, and he made a lot of films in college, and he wrote a lot of nonfiction and fiction essays for contests in undergrad. And he thought he'd go into the movies, and he went to LA and he had an internship at Odd Lot Productions out in Culver City, and he worked on reading scripts and to see what would be good. Would Odd Lot Productions make one of these movies? And he's out in LA and he's reading 10 scripts a day. He's reading till 2 a.m. He has to mark them up and give them to his bosses in the morning what he thought of these films. Wow. And he said, this is nuts. How am I going to be a screenwriter in Hollywood and have someone review my script when I'm a punk kid with 4 other kids that have a background of incredible, expertise in creative writing in English? He's top of his class, Phi Beta Kappa, every kind of summa cum laude. Same kids like him. Yeah. Are wanting to be screenwriters, are looking at these scripts, and it was depressing to him, right? So then he goes into advertising at Ogilvy and Mather, writing ads for, Corona Extra, Huggy Diapers, a lot of Raid and Pledge products, and he was working like the kids maybe in your offices now, all night long. They want 20 Facebook posts in the morning. So he's working till 2 a.m. Then the creative director for Lemon Pledge says, that's not what I was looking for. But he's listening to his creative director, and they're not talking to each other. It became very frustrating. He stuck it out for 3 years, decides to be a teacher in Guatemala, teaching English to Spanish-speaking kids in Guatemala. So now he says, what am I doing with my life? What's going on? He works, I don't want to belabor this with my son, he works for Yale for 2 years reading undergraduate admissions, and he says, I want to do something with my life that matters. Yeah. I want to help. He was turned on by what happened in Guatemala. Poverty, violence, inability to food, legal system oppressing. Wow. He had kids, the parents of 2 kids murdered while he was there. And he said, I want to go to law school to right the ship. I've been working in advertising. Like he felt like, what am I doing?
Yeah, he wants to be an advocate.
Right. I'm making Corona money. I'm making movies, reading scripts, and I'm getting kids reading their applications, see if they get into Yale. Like, what am I doing? Am I making a difference? Yeah. So he said, I want to make a difference in the world. I've seen horrible things in Guatemala. So he
Good for him.
applies to law school, chooses Northwestern University based on the electives that we're talking about, human trafficking and other violations of your rights. He was turned on by their electives. Also, he's dating a girl that lives here, so geography also had a play in where he was. I was going to say, but it also works out for you. You get to see him more. Right. Yeah. So exactly. So now he's in law school, and he now has the opportunity to work in a big firm over the summer and learn law, or he could go to a side that where he works on this human rights journal. He started getting into violation of human rights in Malawi. He's going to Malawi to see this, but he'd opportunity to work in nonprofit organizations now. He says, I'm not in it for the money, Dad.
Yeah.
I don't want to make more than $60,000 a year. I don't want a large lifestyle. I don't need much, but I want to help other people. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is what he's pursuing. So this is what's available to kids that don't want to work in big firms like Kirkconnell's or Jenner and Block or Skadden Arps, huge, gigantic firms. Yeah. You get paid $250,000 within 2 years. You're giving you $25,000 at these big firms to work over the summer. You're starting out $150,000 a year. That's your typical class.
And that's the track that
most kids
people
want.
Go into.
And it's called the golden handcuffs. So now, after 3 years, you're making close to $300,000 a year. You are working 3,000 hours a year. You are working all night long. They work these kids so hard.
Limo picks you up, drops you off.
Well, yeah. Well, with Uber, you get a car service, you get food, there's showers in these law firms, but it's called the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
And either a kid's now you have the kid that's gonna love this life, and he's gonna come out. He's gonna be an income partner, then an equity partner, and that's their track in life. Okay, but there's other tracks you could take. It'd be a criminal defense attorney. That's exciting, right? You representing those who are charged with crimes. You're working with the FBI or the cops, or the U.S. attorney, or the state's attorney. You're gathering evidence, witnesses. That's also a hard life. Criminal defense attorneys work all night. They work all day. They're in prisons, meeting with their clients. There's all types of law you can practice, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a plaintiff's personal injury lawyer, and so I'm looking. What am I looking for to hire as a kid? First, we always have kids interning with us. We put posts in all the law schools. We want kids to work in our firms. So I have the ability to hire them if they're good. A lot of kids come out with these crazy resumes. They come with a vim and vigor in an interview. I went to the limits. I did this job. I did this. I created this business. But when they start working, you find out they're duds. They're not losers. The interview was a fraud. It was fake. They're really not made of the metal for which they profess themselves to be.
Sure.
But you do find, what do I look for?
Yeah, what are you looking for when
this is the most
hire somebody?
A guy, first of all, you have to be able to work with them in the workplace. But I want this guy to come over to my house and have coffee and dessert with my wife. But I like my kids to play ping pong with them or pool. Would I like to go out and throw some passes with them outside, flag football on Sunday? Because if you can't be with your employee and you can't, relate to him, you're gonna be sick every day going to work. Here's this kid. He sits in his office all day in front of the computer. He's not social with the other people work. Because think about it, you spend 8 to 10 hours a week. Well, lawyers could work till 8 at night. You spend all this time with other people in the workplace. And if you cannot have coffee with the other people you work with, it'll just create a bad atmosphere. And so the main thing I look for is someone that worked in the service industry before. Maybe at a window washing company or a little landscape company during college and law school, or he worked in Starbucks to get money.
Real life experience.
Real life, but a kid that wasn't born rich with a kid that worked. Yeah. We look for kids from Bridgeport, kids that had to get along in their community. They didn't have everything handed to them. They had to work, but mostly working with people we want. So now because the plaintiff's injury, we have to have someone with empathy. So I looked for someone who had a loved one in a nursing home, dealt with a parent that had cancer, has had to hold the hand of a loved one who was sick, guiding them through an illness, someone who has in life been around a relative or a friend that had sickness or a disease that showed empathy and care for someone else.
Yes.
A pet owner, huge. We love people that have pets because people that have pets are wonderful, empathetic people. They have to get out of themselves and
so
love
will you
an
ask
animal.
that question in an interview?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The first, I have what I want to hear out of a client, out of a potential employee is first they have to have the wits to be a lawyer, right?
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about that first.
But are
So
you looking for like somebody that performs the highest in the class, or are you looking
no,
for, yeah. Okay.
no. First, like we said, empathy and respect for others, caring for other people, a pet owner, someone in a weekend that has helped out in church. They've helped out in a nonprofit organization. They've given themselves on a weekend night to not do a money-making crazy
Yeah.
scheme and showing how great they were, but to give back to the community. Anyway, we're not looking for angels here. We're looking for people that look back.
Yeah.
But then when I interview them, I have to have a feel like I could have a cup of coffee with you. I can go out with you. I can spend an hour outside the office with you. So if I could do that, then you're my kind of guy that you can relate to my clients. But what is the first thing I do when I interview someone is I just look on my desk and I ask them, what would you do here in this case?
Yeah.
We're at a stop sign. The guy rear ends our client, and the person that hit us dies in the accident.
Mm.
So this encompasses civil procedure. It encompasses estates, evidence. In civil procedure, it encompasses a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And when they don't have a foundation for how they're answering the question, you can't hire them. But I will go through an uninsured motorist case with them, an underinsured motor case, a complex injury case, and a case where the defendant dies.
Mm.
Okay? And these are areas you must know about a little bit about from law school, or at least explain the foundation, how you would attack the issue.
Yeah.
Like, where would you bring the lawsuit? Who would you be suing? If your insurance limits of the defendant are only $25,000, what would you do? Well, Mr. Walner, you can only get $25,000. That's all they have. But what about their stocks, their bonds, their home, other cars? They may have low insurance, but look at their winnings in life. Are they a gambler? Do they have money in the safe deposit box? Well, let's explore what's going on here.
Yeah.
Why are we giving up? Our person has 2 broken legs. Not just throwing the towel here.
Yeah.
So other question. So a person that has, from Bridgeport, or I don't know, I'm naming these communities, but in communities where you have to get along in your community and you struggled, will know common sense. You have to have common sense as a plaintiff's personal injury. You have just the ability to think about something. Hey, my mother went into the hospital and they inserted this tube wrong in her forearm, and her arm burned to pieces, and the debridement of the skin went down to the bone. And you have to think you have to have common sense. One is
common sense. Yeah, sure.
I want to talk to this woman. How about that?
Yeah.
I love the guy that says, I want to meet her. Instead of going right into law, I say, I want to meet her. I want to talk to her. I want to hear what she has gone through. I'm hiring that guy right away.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Here's my man.
So do you feel like the law schools are teaching that? Like, I kind of want to touch base a little bit on that, like learning the law in law school versus practicing the law. Like, there's probably a bit of a gap there, right? When somebody coming out of school.
Huge gap.
Yeah.
You can't teach this in law school.
Yeah.
You can't teach personality or getting along well with others or thinking on your feet or thinking outside the box. That comes from you. We're not talking about people that could figure out complex math problems, or they're, brilliant in classical piano and that got them into Harvard Law School. Their expertise is in other areas. We're looking for someone that can just say, hey, I know something about this in life. I've seen Billy, my neighbor, get sliced up by a lawnmower when there wasn't a guard on it. And I remember, sitting in his house and dealing with his family and taking him to the doctor. I'm really looking for a kid that brings excitement to his client, that wants to meet the client, that really is pulling for the client based on experience he's had in life. Of course, empathy is a major thing. Is something major in your personality that the person must have.
Yep. Makes sense. What's the best advice you could give somebody coming out of law school?
Well, that's a hard question, because you have to know why they went to law school in the first place. And now they've already really, when they're done with law school, they already have an idea of what they want to pursue in the law.
Yeah.
So that's a difficult question. And money is involved. If a kid needs to pay off his student loans, he's got to make real money. You can't just be working for nonprofit organizations. Some people have a real need to earn money to pay off the law school debt. So some people are driven by money, which is natural.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
the person, I'm going to tell you now, this is the honest to God's truth. I'm talking about any job right
Yeah.
now. I'm not really any job, the employer, okay? You want to work in an atmosphere that you feel pride going to work, that makes you feel wanted, desired, the people around you have positive teamwork,
Absolutely.
and working for a common goal, and they lift you in education, in spirit, in looking to the future. So if I were to tell us, look for where you can grow in your knowledge, grow in how you work with others and
Yeah.
solve, complex legal issues. Because if you're happy where you are and the employer is going to give you the opportunity to grow and make more money and become the lawyer that you want to be financially and
Yeah.
socially, educationally, that's what I would tell a person. A lot of kids, like my son's friends, okay? My son went to law school late in life. He's 29 years old. He's in his second year of law school. But his friends that work for Kirkland Ellis, for example, were they making nutso money? My son's 29. His 29-year-old friends are making $250,000 to $300,000 a year, but their unhappiness is palpable. Their stress is palpable. And my son does glean that from their personality.
Yeah.
Yes, they are living in amazing apartments. Yes, they are flying over to Vegas on Friday. They are living up there, kicking into Miami at a music fest. They have the ability to go first class back and forth, stay at the one hotel in Miami and blow through bread because they got no kids.
Right.
And they're just renting these high-priced apartments here. And they have cash like they've never had before.
So on the personal injury side,
Right.
what does salary ranges look like for somebody coming out of school?
So when you come out of law school as a personal injury lawyer, we're going to give you approximately the exact salary the state's attorney will give you or the public defender's office. Say right now it's $65,000. First of all, the biggest stress to me as an employer is when we went through COVID, I don't know why kids don't want to work.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on. All my friends in the plaintiff's personal injury lawyer, all my friends in any business, especially
right?
divorce law, I'm good friends with a family lawyer, we cannot get any employees. We put the most creative ads out there in the Chicago Daily Law Bulletin, in Indeed, in LinkedIn, like come work with a great firm, lots of fun, Cubs game, we go to White Sox games, we have parties, and we have a great atmosphere. We got a health club, and come on by, seeing if the atmosphere will drive them to come here. The workplace. We are finding out, I think it's going across America, so many jobs open, so many kids not wanting to work. We don't know why. We don't know what's going on. We talk to the head recruiting people at law schools, and it's very difficult for me to hire. We want to grow. We have ads out there for lawyers. We can't even get a lot of interviews, and the people we do interview, they went to law school during COVID. That means they went to law school not in person. They went to law school in Zoom. They didn't pick up a lot of skills that you see lawyers, that had went to law school in person. So they've missed out. And then I know you know this, that they work. Now we got out of COVID, but the employers weren't allowing kids to come back to the office.
Yeah.
Now you're working remotely. You are not going to court. Court was remote. So the employers have these kids that do not have any skills that are necessary to thrive to come up and running in the legal world because they went to school during COVID.
So this is your opportunity. You are looking, as you mentioned, for lawyers. Tell the audience what you are looking for in particular. Sell your law firm. Tell us more about what that position.
First of all, as the kids know, or you see that a personal injury lawyer can make a lot of money. obviously you could be making within 5 years $1 million a year.
Yeah.
You could, based on bonuses, the plaintiff's personal injury bar, we go based on, we do a salary and a bonus. So say you your salary is $100,000 a year. We want you to bring in $300,000 in revenue. Now, if you bring over $300,000 in revenue, we'll give you 5% of the fees over that. So that motivates kids to work hard, to understand there is huge money in the plaintiff's personal injury business that you can make. But also, you're going to learn so many skills. We're going to educate you on the intricacies of evidence, how to take a deposition, how to take an evidence deposition, how to prepare a doctor for a deposition, how to prepare yourself to take a doctor's deposition or an expert's deposition in any field. We continuously educate you, send you to seminars. We will pay for your education. And if you leave us, you have grown as an attorney. I don't begrudge anyone that leaves our firm after 5 years, because they have the knowledge and skills to go on and make millions of dollars themselves. We have taught you so much. Because our law firm has a lot of clients. We have over 1,500 clients. So they're going to see truck accident, car accident, Uber accident, drowning in a swimming pool, falling out of a building, minors falling out of buildings due to lack of good screens and proper window coverings. They're going to learn about tire explosions, failed devices, lack of metallurgical integrity. Because we have so many clients in so many ways they've gotten injured, that you are going to a postgraduate degree. Obviously when you're a second year, you grow to 100,000 or 150,000 or 200,000 in your third year, but you have an education of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And we provide an exciting environment for kids to work on. We love parties, taking the kids to the Cubs games or the White Sox game, going to outings where they have the foosball and the cornhole. And we love with the food trucks, ice cream and mini burgers. We try to enliven your life, because it is gut-wrenching to deal with people that have died in accidents or disabled or paralyzed and quadriplegic or brain damage. We have heavy-duty injuries, and then you have demanding clients. When is my case going to settle? What are you doing, lawyer? What is going on? So you have to learn. You are learning so much in how to deal with stress and conflict with the defense attorneys, but conflict with your own client when they're stressed out and they want their case settled. You are learning so many life skills that can enrich your life in so many ways. If you want to drop out of the personal injury law practice, you could be a great estate and trust lawyer, because you've learned what happens when someone dies, how the money is distributed upon death to the next of kin. You have learned the importance of financial planning for people that do come into, we just resolved the case for $21 million, and the client is coming into an excess of $8 million. She's a 26-year-old girl with a 9-year-old child from the ghetto, from an impoverished community. So you are learning so much about planning and financial planning, estate planning for her. Now the kid's 9 years old. We have to make a will for the kid and a trust for the kid, because this kid could have a nice life also in terms of top-notch education and insurance and nice place to live. But we learn about psychology. Why do people make up lies and stories?
Yeah, right. That's
and we work with expert psychologists to get into the mind of a lot of witnesses. So if you're going to drop off the personal injury field, there are a lot of fields of law you learn just practicing personal injury law that you are getting for free from me.
Yeah.
And you're getting paid for it. Yeah. So I think it's just wonderful.
Tell me about your culture. I know you've got a family culture there at Walner Law, and why, that's so different than if they went to a big law firm. So let's touch on that a little bit.
Well, that's my desire, to not have it more corporate and a strict feel of when's this work getting done? When's this deposition getting done? When are these motions being filed? I want to relax in my own office. I
Yeah.
hate stress in my life. I do not like conflict. I want to go into my office, grab a Starbucks, chit chat with the people. I love to hear about my clients' grandchildren or children, what's going on in their lives. I just want to go in an atmosphere where I like to work.
Yeah.
And I want to make it, if I like to work, I want an atmosphere where I think they will like loose, not strict clothing requirements, not strict on, I want them to pride themselves on getting the work done,
Yeah.
but not where their lives are stressed out, like they have to be here till 8 at night and they can't see their wives or girlfriends or their kids. You have to feel enriched at home too. You have to feel like your life has meaning in both places. And you're not, one part of your life isn't overtaking the others. So I want them to like what they're doing, to give them the work that they enjoy working on, but also give them a life-work balance. I don't like stress in the office. If there are bad apples that are gossiping and are creating tension in the office, pitting one girl against another, I will fire them.
Yeah.
I like to get rid of the sour apples that are poisoning the office. You want
it to be positive.
Everyone's not going to get along, but gossip
Yeah.
is a killer to an office atmosphere,
is.
a family office. We want to grow huge because we are getting more and more cases, but the employees are the treasured assets of any company. And to go bigger, you have to make sure that your core employees are together as one before you can grow bigger. That's the biggest problem getting bigger. You need people to work on the cases. That's why right now it's stressful. We don't have enough lawyers and paralegals to handle the influx in volume we're getting because they're doing such great work for all these clients. They're referring us all their neighbors and friends and relatives, but we can't handle a lot of cases now because the lack of employees.
We'll change that. So this is your opportunity to let people know how can they get a hold of you if you're a paralegal or want to be a lawyer at the law firm. How can they get a hold of you?
Well, you mean just calling us or emailing
or you want to
us?
call? You want to email?
What's interesting is, all our numbers are textable. We're 3128 million. So text or call us. You want to email us at walnerlaw.com. We'll answer your text. We will immediately answer your emails. We'll respond to your resume submissions immediately. We will bring you in before within COVID, you had to interview people by Zoom, but come on in, come meet us, and we will make the interview process easy, relaxed, not stressful. We will tell them before they come in what we are looking for, that we see that some of your work experience resonates with our office or your work experience doesn't. You wouldn't be a candidate here before they come in and are belabored and stressed out for the interview.
Okay.
But the interview will touch on aspects of what we do for a living and how your past experiences or common sense of living in life would be an asset to the firm. What's great about working at our firm is that we spend an incredible amount of money on technology. I think we have the best software where the clients could always be told the status of the case, because there's nothing more stressful than a client not knowing what's going on and taking it out on the lawyer. So on all mobile devices, we have a web-based software system. You could see everything about a client's case, the telephone calls, the messages they send.
That's really important,
right,
using the technology for your clients.
Absolutely. The emails that they've sent out, and we know all their medical bills. We could see all the documents in the client's folder, whether they're police reports or medical records, and the clients love that. Also, we have an app at all the attorneys' phones and all our employees' phones. It's an app through Ring Central where you don't have to use your actual mobile phone number. You can text the clients right off your phone. So everyone knows they want immediate responses to their questions. So now we provide the clients that ability. Text us. It's a fake number really, but it's an app on your phone and we text them back. Well, what's awesome is that text string goes into the client's file automatically through an integration we have made from Ring Central into our software system. We provide all the attorneys the ability to succeed, and the paralegal.
Yeah.
We have 2 monitors on everyone's desk. We have the most updated computer hardware and software, and Walner Law will spend as much money as we can to make sure the client, gets the
Great.
results as fast and with much success as possible. And the lawyers and paralegals that work for us could succeed because we have provided them the tools for success.
So the easiest way is to call the main office, right?
312-8
Yeah, that's great. All right. And then they can get a hold of you and you can tell them all about the positions that are available.
Right. Win with
That's
Walner
exciting.
in life, win with Walner as an employee, and Walner will win for the clients.
Yeah.
Call or text us at 312-8 It's as simple as that.
All right. I love it. Well, I tell you what, I can't wait. This has been just really fascinating, and I appreciate you telling us more about the law firm and certainly for young professionals that are in school, what to look for and the positions that are available at your law firm. But I can't wait, Jon. Next month, we're going to have Andrew Stroth here on your podcast. And for people that don't know who Andrew is, he is a premier civil rights attorney here in Chicago. And I think the conversation that you and Andrew are going to have is going to be really fascinating. So I can't wait for the next month, and look for it and tune in. Thanks much.
Thank you.